Aló, ¿cómo t'appelles tu?
Me
¿Cómo se
llamo
dice?
Jeff. Epic.
Hey, Jeff.
Hello, Matt.
Welcome to Strangely Familiar, episode 131. It's the show where we say the title and the episode every 20 shows.
And then we have a soft open, a cold open often, and sometimes it goes on a tangent, and then we play the theme song unexpectedly. But I say we change it up. We don't even do this open that I'm opening with right now, and we just start the music.
Whoa.
I've confused my priorities. Isn't it supposed to come to me? Yes, this is how it's meant to be. Every little thing flashing on a screen. Just convenient. My daddy worked hard for that.
I was hoping you were going to continue and I was going to just drop the music in your thought, but you just really wrapped it up tight.
Dead.
A tight one. What you got? How was your night? Did you go to the Savannah Bananas?
I did. I went to the Savannah Bananas Banana World Tour, Banana Ball World Tour at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, where they squared off against long rivals, the Texas Tailgaters.
Is it like,
So,
do they
yeah.
always play the same team? Is it like the Washington Generals type?
No, it used to be. There was when they would play banana ball. It used to be there was this team, the Party Animals, and they still exist. But with the World Tour thing, where they go around during the summer, they need to basically add additional teams to give players like rest time and stuff like that. So, and then these teams also kind of do the same thing their local region. So this team really is from Texas. But they'll be on parts of the legs of the tour and stuff, and then they go back to Texas and do their own thing. So, yeah, it's very confusing.
Yeah, do
if
they?
you read up on it.
I guess is the Texas team. So I think most people know Savannah Bananas, but it's sort of like a Harlem Globetrotters entertainment baseball thing. You've probably seen the online, a lot of dancing, a lot of showmanship. But is the other team in on it? Is that a
Yeah.
thing, or are they really
Like-
playing ball?
No, they're all really playing ball, because like there's also like a scoreboard that keeps track of trick plays from each team. So like the other team's also doing theatrics and such.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just 2 hours of chaos. That's kind of like what Jesse, the creator and owner, is. The gentleman who wears a bright yellow tuxedo at every game. How do I put this? So like very long story that he has, but essentially he got drafted in the MLB, never made it out of like AA ball. Then decided to like bid on the Georgia team, a minor league team, to own it, got it, and then he wanted to know like how to make people come to the park for this minor league team, and then realized like it's a lot of the stuff that people hate is the ambiguity of how long a baseball game takes and stuff like that. So he decided to make banana ball and put like a clock on it. So it's a 2-hour clock. There's a ceremonial starting of the clock right before the game starts and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it's chaos. Like the whole time you're there, you're kind of like trying to focus. You forget that baseball's being played sometimes because they'll actually have things going on during the ball game. To give you some insight as to what I mean, and I believe at the beginning of the third inning, the top of the third, they had an eating contest, and it was these two big guys on behalf of the banana ball, or on behalf of Savannah Bananas, these two massive fellows, and then the music starts playing, and they start introducing their opponent, and ends up being Joey Chestnut. And so Joey Chestnut goes out to the outfield.
They're eating the dogs.
This is set up in right field. There's a table where they're competing, and the game's still going on. So, like, there's an eating competition while the game's going on in the baseball field. So, like, it's just chaos, like, ensuing. But, yeah.
I wonder if, like, you know, it's weird because a lot of failed baseball players might end up there, or a guy like is there ever going to be a guy who goes from Savannah Bananas to end up getting a pro career? You know, other than that, I don't know.
I'm gonna go no on that one. Pro
What?
career failed that goes to Savannah Bananas, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other way
But
around,
you get the yeah.
doubtful.
It's not the worst option though. It's like, you know, oftentimes a failed, you know, professional wrestler going out ends up becoming a referee or something like that. Like they, you know, they're either too small or they don't have some of what it takes, so they end up doing that. So that's like maybe a parallel where it's like, hey, at least it's not like I'm not selling cars or something like that. Like I'm sort of in the business still, but I'm not. It's not the grind per se. It's, you know, if you have to call your family and say, you know what, it didn't work out, but I'm on the Savannah Bananas and we go on a world tour. Like that's pretty good news.
I think it's more of the like, you have a thing in baseball and it's enough of a niche thing, but well known now. Like 5 years ago, different vibe. But like now it's right. I think a lot of guys are like, even if I don't make decent money, I'm doing something really fun, really enjoyable, and I get to travel. And that's plenty for a lot of people, I'm assuming, because I can't assume Banana Ball is not profitable when they're selling out NFL pro stadiums and stuff of like 80,000 people at some of their tour stops. Like,
but it's going to be competitive. Like, could you imagine that? Like, what if you're the guy that doesn't make the Savannah Bananas? You're like, oh, you know the Savannah Bananas? Yeah, you're on them. Oh, I'm on the Tulsa Steers, and we play them once every few months.
Well, another thing is like, so a lot of the ball players, like when it first started, it was like people just had talents, and there was like, yo, if you have a talent, come to the game, you know, let us know, and that might give you a leg up on being part of the Savannah Bananas because you can do like trick shots and stuff. So like one guy ran to first after his at bat. He went to first on his unicycle. After taking his at bat,
That means he had to get on the unicycle after he.
It didn't because he didn't take his at bat on the unicycle, so it felt a little weird. But maybe it was on a sprint, like on a base on balls, if I remember. But yeah, I mean, it'd be weird to like try out for Savannah Bananas, and they're like, "What's your talent?" And you do the old removing the thumb trick, and they're like, yeah, sorry, bud, that's not enough, that won't work. You know, they have people
I could see an era. Couldn't you see, like, maybe there's kids now that don't want to play MLB, they just want to be on the Savannah Bananas. Like, they've seen it online so much that they're like going to, all right, I got baseball at 3:30 and then I have dance class at 6. Like, let's do this, Mom. We gotta make this happen.
A kid who's got like gymnastics and baseball, and they're like, finally I can have a passion project that fills both of those voids. I mean, it's fun, much like what am I saying, like box lacrosse and basketball, there's just music playing through the entire thing, and they pick obviously it's just all segmented, like, okay, we're not going to play this song. We're going to play the chorus of this song, or like the sing-along parts of songs. So like they had like singing competitions. The first base and right outfield half versus the left field and third baseline half. They did a singing competition. The first side, which I was not on, what did they sing? They had to sing. They played the music for a little bit and then turned off the music, and the crowd just sang and as a competition. But our side got Crazy Train, so it was like half of the stadium screaming, singing Crazy Train. So that was pretty neat. They did a couple Ozzy tributes there. They did do a Hulk Hogan tribute. A guy came out to Real American during one of the competitions,
and beat up an immigrant.
Yes, and then said very colorful language. It was a very odd portrayal, but Yeah, all in all, it was fun. It's just constantly stuff happening for hours that you're there. Because even before the game, there's just things happening. There's
It is so funny.
fan involvements
He's
and
like,
stuff. Yeah,
we've got to like attention deficit disorder is rampant in baseball crowds. We have to nix that completely.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
Something always happening.
Yep. Yeah, so it's neat.
Is there any particularly? Do they have like Savannah Banana food or drink specials or items that they bring in?
I mean, they do. You can they have like banana based items and things like that. We did not opt for them, but there's like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the. I mean, there's commemorative cups, of course, but I don't know beyond frozen bananas, chocolate bananas, things like that.
Is there Bud Light banana?
There, not that I know of. Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry. It's not like, oh, this is family friendly, so there's no alcohol served. Absolutely not. The alcohol lines are still very, very rampant.
Well, should we get into Ozzy?
I guess.
What a week. What
I
a
guess.
week. I think I texted to the group chat, but two of Little Matt Jones's all-time legends gone. So always expect a third. So look out, Steven Seagal. Look out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the irony of Hogan too. My sister mentioned we went to the annual Route 90 garage sale yesterday.
Right.
Walked around there, talked a little Hogan. She's like, the same week, I guess Ric Flair was declared cancer free. like Ric Flair comes out on top again, much like Royal Rumble '92.
Right.
It just isn't fair.
Just walking around the ring outside during the match and then comes back in and wins.
Yeah.
Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Like, how is he still alive? The world may never know. I mean, he's not. He's breathing functionally, but I wouldn't know how alive he really is.
If you look it up, there's a photo online circulating of just a massive gash in Ric Flair's face, and it doesn't have any context. And it's like, hey, thanks for showing your concern. I'm okay, still going strong. And I'm like, everyone's assumption is that you got hammered, fell, and split your face open. Like, he's not changed.
No idea what happened.
In any way, he has not changed in the last 55 years. He's still just like, there's stories online, and you can search this, folks. It's the internet. There's stories online that like a recent flare up, like was a month ago, was that like he got drunk at this like hotel bar that he frequents and like crapped himself, like fell out of his chair and just like pooped his pants at the bar. And it's just like, this dude just keeps going. Like that guy is the Keith Richards of the wrestling world. Like nothing is killing him.
I guess the same can be said for Ozzy for a long time. I mean, 71, which in Ozzy years is like 130.
Yep.
Based on the way he lived. And he had like Parkinson's, right? The last few years of his life. And I don't know if that's what eventually he succumbed to. Obviously, that was the crazy part because, you know, I was in a meeting at work and someone's like, oh my God, Ozzy died. Like right before our chat had the group message. But, and I was like, what? That I just literally watched the concert from 2 weeks ago.
It just happened.
You know, in Birmingham, where that like literally just happened. Like, how does that, you know? I mean, and he was sitting down in his seat at that one, but he was like, if you watch any of the YouTube videos of that, his solo stuff, and then some of the Black Sabbath songs, like it was still holding up his voice. I mean, it was as the show went on, it was like you could tell it was
the later songs did stuff to him, but
still held up, and ultimately, like from the Osbournes on, like very unlikely had a functional family, and everybody in the family did well. Like they were all mostly healthy, you know, and in good spirits, and turned out to be fairly reasonable human beings. You know, which is kind of like the surprise of it all, I think. After, you know, that reality show stint.
Yeah.
Which could definitely sink a family.
Yeah, and I think it almost like the reality show, it was hard to tell what the tone MTV was, or VH1, I don't remember what, I think it was MTV, not VH1. what tone they were going for. It was like at the beginning, I felt like I remember being like, are they trying to like make them seem like dumpster fire people, like disasters impending, like especially Jack and Kelly? Is I'm like, are they saying like they're gonna be messed up humans because this family is like degenerate? Or were they saying like, no, it's chaos, but they're actually like a really nice family? I couldn't tell what tone MTV was going for. And MTV absolutely had an agenda. And I think it was the first, but it accidentally, like, it changed course because people kind of like warmed up to them and not being like, oh, like, it. I think that in tone originally was supposed to be like Jerry Springer-esque. But it ended up not being that. And it ended up being like people just cheering for them and being like, yeah, they're kind of chaotic, but people more so assimilating it to their own families and being like, no, that's actually like fucking legitimate as to how humans interact with each other and stuff like that. And like you said, there was a couple times where I'm like, oh, is Jack Osbourne slipping down this weird path and is it going to turn into just snowball? And then that kind of just never materialized. After 2010, they kind of fell off the face of the planet. But if you kept looking into them, all of them were kind of like, all right, still moving along and stuff. Sharon was on like The View for a long time. Kelly still has or had a talk show, I think. Kelly Osbourne had a show. But yeah, and it ends up being like actually a great success story for that family. Like it did not come back to bite them.
No, yeah, I think, and it's such a big deal because it was like, oh, they're swearing. They're a family who swears together. Wow.
Exactly.
How precious.
There's no way this lasts. Like, this is against our culture, which in today's world is like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Like, that's what we were fascinated by in 2003 is like, this family curses, even the young ones.
And it was like, obviously Ozzy had many decades of drug and alcohol usage. And so it was sort of like, him being out of it, and part of it was sort of like making fun of him. And like a few years later, he got in that, I remember like that ATV accident or something, where it's like she could have been dead from that and somehow still survived. But still kept touring, had a few more albums. Such a wild legacy. Like, I don't know, I guess the day that it came out, like, I was like, okay, because it's one of those people, I'm sure some people were like, oh, I didn't even know he was still alive kind of guy. But like, I think it started to hit me as the days went on. You could see like the tributes coming in, watching some of the videos. Like there's the, one of the videos that kind of went viral is the Mom, I'm Coming Home performance on YouTube, where it's like they keep going to the audience. There's like a bunch of people like crying during it, and like young people too, like Gen Zers watching this and maybe realizing in the moment what they're seeing. So it's very, it's wild to like put together all of your youth and music interests and see how it kind of stemmed from there, and like hear the story, I mean, functionally about a guy who just had, like kind of like a learning disability and got into the trades, was getting into fights and stuff. And then just started a band with Tony Iommi, and that just somehow, like, he basically grew up in Birmingham, was like kind of like a working class town, and still, I think when he grew up, there was still like kind of damage from World War II and stuff like that. So it was a very kind of dark place. But to see then just, and he loved the Beatles too. That was like his favorite.
That
band.
was always the funniest
part.
Love the
Beatles,
you're expecting him to be snarky about the Beatles, and it's the exact opposite. Like he dropped that quote of like it's like the world was in black and white in England after World War II, and then you woke up and one day it was in color when the Beatles like came to fame. Ooh. And it's just like he was a huge Beatles fan.
But then to go from that to just have these like power chords and it all comes together, because didn't Tony, like, wasn't he missing like 2 tips of his fingers from like some manufacturing accident? So he had like these fake fingertips, and so that's why he had to play guitar with like these power chords. And so you start to get this new sound, and it's hard to imagine that like it didn't exist before, like in terms of like kind of the heaviness and distortion. I mean, probably some other bands were doing it, but in the way like to make it like riff heavy, have melodies, like I feel like they have to be one of the pioneers of a lot of them, but like they would do like the what do you call it? The verses would be heavy, and then they would have like the acoustic choruses, stuff like that. They'd have ballad type songs. A lot of like
That's kind of the thing too. Is like you find out like I think a lot of like you'd be hard pressed to have anyone not know Ozzy Osbourne as a person, like the name Ozzy Osbourne, the band Black Sabbath. But like the perception is when it's like the godfather of heavy metal, the problem is people ultimately, I think a lot of people equivalate it to like, ooh, evil and dark and heavy. And it's like, no, heavy metal, like when you come out with something, you're probably not the extreme of that something. Like Black Sabbath had songs all over the spectrum, like much like a Led Zeppelin, where it's like what when it comes down to it, it's like what genre are they? I don't know, rock of all different sorts and styles and emotions and stuff. So that's kind of the weird thing is I think both Ozzy as a artist himself, because of like the biting the head off a bat and blah 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 blah, biting doves and all that shit. Like I think people that know of the name but don't know the music have probably a terribly wrong perception of what Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne were as far as artists go. But I'll tell you, man, I think I've heard the song Changes by Black Sabbath more this week than I had in like the previous 30 years. Changes somehow. I turn on like XM radio and stuff and everything, like just covers of Changes.
Yeah, that's one
and
of their slower songs.
Yeah. And it's just weird because I don't think people realize that it's not all War Pigs and Iron Man.
It's not all War Pigs and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Should we do a would you have enough in the chamber to do a quick Ozzy / Black Sabbath draft of songs that you could think of?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll see if we can get to 5 each.
All right. Oof.
I feel like it's weird because I don't want to like go. I mean, I would want to like kind of my favorite ones or the ones that I've probably listened to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe just instead of a draft, it's a draft of a Mount Rushmore, like kind of just like
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll do. Do you want to do a top 5 or a top 4?
We'll do 4 and see if we have any passion about 5.
Okay.
Gosh, it's really hard to narrow it down.
I know.
I'm trying to go away from like, I mean, Iron Man and Paranoid, and those are obviously some of the biggest songs because that's the ones you first heard and were kind of ubiquitous in the 90s. And, it might be the first Sabbath record you steal from Columbia House. Because, we sold our souls for rock and roll. And,
So Matt's like, so I'll go for a deep cut, Crazy Train. That being said, I'll go for a deep cut.
Yeah. So, one that I really loved, I would say this is my favorite album too. I think it holds up start to finish. I re-listened to it again the other night just to make sure. But the title track of Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, I think is like it's an all-time song. The album start to finish is my favorite. Holds up completely. But just starts with the super chunky riff. But it's another one where the verse is like the heavy, like like that.
Yeah.
And then it goes, nobody would ever let you down. One of those things. So it's like the perfect combo of like going heavy and then kind of into the almost like the hippie, like Woodstock era kind of clean sound. And it just starts off the record immensely and just.
I absolutely should have known that was going to be on there because, too, like, that was the track that you'd play on Garage Inc. all the time too. With
was that on the song from that?
Was it?
No, it's a different song. Maybe it'll be in my. It's from that album though. The song from Garage Inc. was Sabracadabra.
Oh, It was?
And yeah, in the beginning had a piece of National Acrobat in it, which are both songs on the on that record, though.
Why
But
did
yeah,
I
it's
think
the
it was
same
Sabbath
kind of,
Bloody Sabbath?
It's a very thematic sound, like, yeah.
But, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I mean, I'll admittedly was way more big into Ozzy's. I gravitated more towards Ozzy stuff than Black Sabbath at the end of the day. So I'm gonna go with "Shot in the Dark" off the Ultimate Sin.
Oh, jeez.
I
like that one.
It's such an odd vibe, and you want to know what? I was listening to.
I didn't even think about that one.
To some stuff this week, and I think that is like a really good example of like what Ghost was going for. Is like that tone, like it almost sounds Shot in the Dark, and a lot of like Ozzy and Black Sabbath stuff. It almost feels like it gives a sense of like church music, and I don't know if that makes sense, but it's almost like it feels like it could be played with like dark and dreary like organs, and like it's just this weird, the tones they use in Shot in the Dark and how his vocals are mixed are always really cool, because it's like you forget, like there's really good, like the guitar is very noticeable and stuff, but just like it just has this weird like eerie feeling that it should be in like a horror movie, like there should be like werewolves involved. Like I don't know, man, like that song just does it for me. Absolutely, you got to put that up there.
Oh, it's good, because it's like, I think what he did, I just pulled up, we'll play a little of the chorus here, especially for, I think he did a really good job in the 80s of, and a lot of credit, honestly, for Ozzy. Like, he somehow in his life found himself the greatest guitar player that he could ever find. Like, the musicians he saddled himself up with, whether it's Black Sabbath or, like, just some of the most creative, talented, virtuosity of guitar playing. And, like, so, I mean, he had several, you know, Randy Rhoads, Jake Lee, Zach Wilde, like, I mean, a couple others, but so he was able to navigate, I feel like, the 80s of this hair metal era, sort of a sensibility to that, but still maintaining, I think, his own course, like his own sound. Because I think Shot in the Dark's a good example of that, where there is kind of like this new wave, almost like pop metal going on in the 80s, but it still retains sort of a darkness. And like ultimately songs and songwriting, it's about the song and you know, the melody. And, you know, I think he was always sensitive to melody and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Let's see. Here's a little. I forgot about that one. That's a good good dude. Here. Dude,
I mean, very time relevant, but like you said, it's like it's not the generic hair metal that was starting to come, or actually at that time hair metal was like prominent. That was probably like, because that was what, like 85, 86, 87, somewhere in there. So like that was when hair metal was very prominent, but it was like, yeah, I don't know. It just had a very eerie tone to it. Very, you know, even seeing that video, very, very much along the lines of what like Alice Cooper was doing and everything like that at that point.
It's hard to pick. I think I'm going to use your choice as a platform.
Okay.
For, I want to go that era too. One that I just listened to a lot. Similar vein. Bark at the Moon. So I used to listen to a lot of that, and Bark at the Moon was just like serious riffage to start, and it has one of the greatest kind of soaring guitar solos at the end.
Oh
with,
my
like,
God.
Him singing over it, like just crazy like 80s like shred guitar, and he's like sort of doing his anthemic melody over it. And yeah, Bark at the Moon. He's basically like a werewolf kind of thing. But,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine. We're okay with that. It's just a
It's
great
theater,
tune. I
man.
love
It's
it.
theater. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all part of it. Like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
it's being okay to not take yourself so seriously, because if there's one thing that'll kill music for me is when you think that you're better than doing something that just feels awesome. Like, don't, like, Ozzy's always been that, like, you always see the old cuts of like old interviews with him that people did, and he's literally acting like a goon in front of the camera and like farting around
yeah,
during
he's
interviews. And I'm
silly,
like,
yeah.
because he's a silly goose. Ozzy Osbourne, as whatever he portrayed in his like music was one thing and stuff, but like he was clearly just a goofball. And so I don't think he ever took himself so seriously, even though he had intense songs.
Here is just to me, just the way it starts out with the riff. It always got me going. Like it's like a before hockey games kind of song, or any, you know. He's doing like mad scientist stuff.
Right. Oh my God.
God, I love that. It's so funny. And I heard Henry Rollins was interviewed on something this week about Ozzy, and he said, I think I wrote it down, like, ultimately, Ozzy was a wild guy who meant no harm. And that was kind of it. Like, he was always, like, just a nice guy. I mean, he grew up pretty poorly. I'm pretty sure he was the victim of some kind of abuse in his life, too. And he managed it with a lot of crazy 60s and 70s drugs, and
Yeah.
then some 80s drugs and booze and all that. But, you know, ultimately just a silly guy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we had talked about this, and I'm gonna snag it if we're on a draft concept, because this was probably my intro into Ozzy. My older brother had the album. It's the mid-90s, Osmosis.
Oh,
and
this would be on my list.
yeah, and it's Perry Mason, and it's because
Yep.
this was
Great
my
tune.
this
Great
was my intro song. And so like it's always weird when you learn about a band or an artist well after, like, you didn't take the journey with them. You don't remember their debut album, you don't remember albums of you have to work backwards, because what's cool about that is that when you learn retroactively about bands, you gravitate towards sometimes the first song you ever hear from them. Sometimes it's like somewhere front loaded, but it's never affected by how it was released, when it was released. So I think it's always interesting to find out what people gravitate towards when you have to look back at a big catalog. But mine, yeah, we're going to go Perry Mason. Very different sound, but pretty, I don't know. I don't know what I would assimilate to at that era too, in the mid 90s, of like what bands it was most similar to. Realistically, that metal in 1995, I think Osmosis came out. That was not popular music. Like there was, it was not something on any rotation of any radio station.
Everybody knew that, oh, it's the new Ozzy record. And it was also, Zakk Wylde is like honing his sound. Like, you can clearly see the Zakk Wylde Ozzy era, because it's chunkier, and I think it's got more of a Pantera, almost like a drop tuning, but like all these like pinch harmonics and like very, a little more rough around the edges sound too, not as clean as the 80s. So maybe some of that like Pantera influence, which makes sense because Zakk plays with Pantera now. But very thick song. Remember, it started off with the orchestration and then into the crazy riffs.
Yeah.
We'll do another. This is the chorus of it, I believe. I was like, I'll just play the beginning, but you kind of want to hear Ozzy. That's kind of the point of it.
Over and over again. Who can we
such a funny concept for a song too.
Yeah, that riff right there.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
that's
riff right there is so
that's the girthy
Pantera-esque.
one. Girthy, yeah.
Because this would have been around the time that like Far Beyond Driven was released, probably within a
Yes.
year of each other. And it's like, okay, those were both very much in line.
And it's so like, because when we're in middle school hearing the song, we're like, who the fuck is Perry Mason? Like, it's like
Right.
a detective show from like the 70s or something. Or it's like, why is this kick-ass song about like a TV show about solving like crimes?
It was so confusing because you knew the name. I don't know if I like asked an adult about it. I doubt I knew the name Perry Mason when I was 12 or 13, but it's like, wait, I don't get it. So wait, why is he singing about that? But it didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter. It was a rad song.
It's tough. I'm gonna go with a Sabbath song that to me also has some of the best covers of it.
Mm-hmm.
And because there was these really good, I think they were called, and I guess, well, the song's called NIB, Nativity in
yes,
Black.
Nativity
I
in
think it
Black.
stands for, and then they had some couple cover albums called Nativity in Black, Volume 1, Volume 2. I don't know if there was a third one, but NIB, just really good riff, chorus, like Ugly Kid Joe, remember him? He did a really good cover of it. Of Cats in the Cradle fame, you know?
Yeah.
But starts out with a cool little bass thing. Like that kind of deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's straight from the first album. Yeah, all time. The lyrics, some people say, "My love cannot be true. Please believe me. My love cannot show you." Like that kind of deal. I was like, wow, didn't expect to hear that from him. So, N period I period B period. And yeah, look up that Ugly Kid Joe cover. It's the second
Like you
song
say-
you'll ever hear from him.
And both Ugly Kid Joe
his other
songs.
song was a cover too.
I was gonna say, and Cats in the Cradle was also a cover. So
right, yeah.
Ugly Kid Joe, I'm not sure what your whole MO was. But didn't he do didn't Ugly Kid Joe have there was a song. Okay, yeah, it was the one from Wayne's World. Everything About You. I hate everything about you. That was Ugly Kid Joe as well. That was his one original. But yes, the other two songs he was most known for were covers. Let's see here.
This song, and I love that, what I love about the original is the tone, like the tone of the guitar, because you can still tell that it's of that era, you know, the late 60s.
Some people say my love cannot be true. Please believe me, my love, and I'll show you. I will give you those things you thought unreal. The sun, the moon, the stars, all bear my seal.
I mean, it still holds up. Love it. Yeah, and then into the slow chorus, the slow, cleaner chorus.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm kind of upset that you took that one because now hearing it, I'm like, man, that's what a fucking, when that comes on, it's so head boppy. You're just, oh, it's so good.
And the bass intro is almost like a minute too. I'm pretty sure. Leading into it.
Well, because it was all right. You could have 7-minute songs, and you're like, oh, I want this really dragged out intro. Sure.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, right. Because even Black Sabbath, the title, their first song was 6 or 7 minutes, and that's very different than, a lot of the pop music of the '60s and all the short Beatles songs and all that. So.
Yeah. Let's see. I think I'm gonna go easy Easy one for the third one. This will be my Black Sabbath. I am going to go Paranoid. It was...
All-timer. It's just fucking...
It was... how am I going to put this? There was like a racing game for Super Nintendo that had Paranoid as like a MIDI cover of one of the songs. And
was it like R-Type or one of those things?
It was like a weird futuristic wonky racing game. Let me see if we can figure out what that was. Oh, looks like Rock and Roll Racing is what it was literally called.
Makes sense.
So yeah. We didn't have it. Obviously, we didn't have a Super Nintendo, but I remember our neighbor down the street, Adam had a Super Nintendo, and he brought it to our house once and had it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, no way, I think I know this song, like hearing Paranoid before. And then another, that was another one where I'm like, started really understanding like covers and stuff, because Megadeth had their version of Paranoid too that sounded different. Yes. But also rad in its own Megadeth-y way. And so Paranoid was really kind of a song that I felt like early on I got to hear multiple versions of stuff. Obviously today I'm a big cover fan and I love people putting their own spins on stuff. But Paranoid, kind of right out of the gates, I felt like I was getting different versions of Paranoid. And it was just, I mean, talk about a pump-up song based right out of the gate. Literally the first guitar part you hear, you're just like, yes, like let's go. Like it could pump you up. You could do it while driving and drive horribly fast for no reason because you're just like,
it's one of the best driving songs.
It's an adrenaline song. That's what it is. It's not just a pump up. It's an adrenaline song.
And that's one of their songs that never slows down. Just
that's correct.
Going.
Right. Yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It is hopped up.
Some of the other songs from Rock and Roll Racing, Bad to the Bone by George Thorogood.
Okay.
Highway Star, Deep Purple. Born to be Wild, Steppenwolf. Breaking the Law, Judas Priest. They kind of nailed it with that. They definitely had something. I mean, geez,
someone at Nintendo really, really pulled it off. Like MIDI file versions of these songs.
Would you like to hear MIDI file?
Yes.
Paranoid?
MIDI Paranoid? Absolutely.
Let's go.
What could you ask for more on a Super Nintendo game?
I would love to roll down the windows and just crank that. You're driving down the road, you're like, what the? I don't know. That's weird, but I like it. I don't know what that is. Yeah.
So good.
It is. It's a good song. It just is. That's why it's very popular.
Right.
Like most people know. Like it's funny when you grow up and you're like, oh, I just heard this song so much, and then if you haven't revisited it in a while, you're like, oh yeah, that's why it was popular. Like.
Right.
I can see why a lot of people would like this song.
Right. Yeah. They kept playing this. Why'd they keep playing this? Oh, because people liked it. Well, why'd so many people like it? Oh, right. Because it's a really good song.
Shoot. I was going to lean into like a Perry Mason thing. I do have, I don't know. I was just jotting some stuff down. Gosh. I'm trying to think of another. I want to balance it with another Ozzy song. But I guess I will go with the darkest song, one of the dark ones I could think of.
Okay.
This was more about the riff and the music, and this would be considered probably more horrific, but it's "Children of the Grave," a Black Sabbath classic. Just because. It's also, again, one of the best covered ones, but very dark. So I think, if I'm not wrong, it's something about, I think Black Sabbath had a lot of like anti-war songs, and this lends itself to that, in terms of like children dying to war, that kind of thing. So yeah. Not super pleasant, but I always loved the way this one kind of started out. It has like kind of like the very classic heavy metal type riffish thing that if you were going to pretend to do heavy metal, it would sort of come out like this. Like very good percussive sound with the bass and the drums. Good stuff. But yeah, then it gets into some, a rockin' chorus, all that. But kind of dark, but with a message. I think that was kind of the idea, and I think that kind of sums up Sabbath in a lot of ways. Like some of the songs were fun and drug-induced maybe, but that one I think lends itself to who Ozzy was, and I think who he was growing up and his message as a person.
So for my fourth, I was kind of torn between two. One from 1981, one from 1988. It's really tough. I'm going to go with... I'll throw the curveball here. I'll go with 1988, No Rest for the Wicked. Our first album with Zakk Wylde, a 21-year-old Zakk Wylde on guitar. Somehow landed that gig. Gets to jump on with Ozzy at that time. Maybe he was one of the people that tolerated what Ozzy was going through in his life at that time, as far as like drugs and whatnot. But we're gonna go with Crazy Babies. That song again is it rips. So you can play the opening for people, but it's weird because like if you're singing along, it's just funny to keep saying like Crazy Babies all the time because it's a weird title of a song, but it's so good. I love the opening to it. It just gets you pumped.
Great there. Baby.
Like Crazy Babies.
There's that sound. Wow, what a late 80s, early 90s video.
Oh, yeah.
The color, the reverse cameras.
And then this.
Nobody's gonna change them. They're gonna win this time.
It's just so catchy.
Tame them. They're never gonna stop.
Walk that walk.
Dude. He's already got the bullseye guitar. All right.
Yeah.
Can't wait. This is going to be the first episode we have to pull because of how much sampling we've done.
Sweet.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I mean, I could have thrown Sabracadabra in there. I just let Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, I guess, represent all those tunes.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Iron Man. I love it. It's a good tune. It's like the ultimate metal riff that ever existed. There's just a lot of songs that influenced a lot of folks. I do regret. It is like never got to see him live. Unfortunately, we almost did. That 2002. We almost got those Ozfest tickets to go to Pennsylvania, and then the dude at McQuay gave him away. Didn't even give us like 24 hours to confirm. Like we called later that night, and he's like, "Oh, I already sold him to somebody else." It's like, dude,
yeah, why would?
It was like 6 hours.
Jeez, man. Yeah.
I do. One of my favorite concerts that I still look at. I bought it on DVD when I went to college. I don't remember if it might have been recorded in the late 90s or around 2000. But it was Ozzy live at Budokan. And it's funny because it's a Japanese audience and they're all very proper, in the crowd. They always like clap in unison and they always they're very, it's so fun to watch the crowd because they're not doing mosh pits. They're all very attentive and watching. And, but it's so amazing how much they're into it. And yeah, Zakk's just Foley Zach, Robert Trujillo, a young Robert Trujillo playing bass there. That's what was cool when I did the. I've seen some other performances lately of like whether it was Hall of Fame things or just mixing up different people. Like, I mean, if you saw the list of the people that were at that the last show a couple weeks ago, I mean, it's everybody who's ever played metal or rock or been influenced, and there was like Steven Tyler, Metallica, Slayer, every single Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
It was a wild lineup. So it was cool. I mean, it's sad. Pretty sad for the world. I mean, I guess it's pretty awesome to leave a legacy behind though, and just stumble into something, just do what you want to do, and it resonates with people, and that's a pretty wild effect.
Yeah. It's weird to be known for kind of like, again, the assumed dark and dreary concept of heavy metal, and then who came from that background and then turned around the public's opinion through a reality TV show in the late 90s. Like, that doesn't even make sense. That statement doesn't make sense. That was supposed to cripple people. Like, reality TV is always supposed to result in people hating you, not actually embracing you and finding you charming. But I mean, yeah, it seemed like, I think it's actually had more of a ripple than I even anticipated it. Like you said, like as of yesterday, it was still like, you can't get away from the fact that like everyone's kind of talking about it, and all in a positive light. So good for him. He left such a positive impression. He's going to have a legacy that just is all positivity, I think, at the end of the day, which is good. It's good for the concept of like the music too. Like that he has such a positive like legacy in the general public's eye. It's good for heavy metal to like have people not be like, well, that's one more gone or anything like that. So yeah. Hulk Hogan, very different. Hulk Hogan, very different.
And what's your Mount Rushmore of Hulk Hogan songs?
Okay. Jeez, it's just too many to count. Theme from Thunder in Paradise, theme from Rocky 3, Real American.
Thunder Lips.
Yes, the ultimate male versus the ultimate meatball.
Nobody plays a fake guitar like Hollywood Hogan, though. that's true.
Well, remember, one of Hogan's favorite things is he's like, yeah, Lars Ulrich and I were big friends, and Lars wanted me to be in Metallica, but it just didn't work out. Oh yeah, that's an actual quote from like Hulk Hogan. Look it up. You can easily look up Hulk Hogan Metallica, and you'll find that quote. I guarantee you.
How would have he even known him?
Dude, it doesn't matter, Matt. It's Hulk Hogan, man. It's Hulkamania. The universe revolves around him. He literally said that he was friends with Lars, and was like Lars wanted him in Metallica or something.
Yeah, there's like a louder article from 2023. I tried for 2 weeks and never heard a word back. The strange story of Hulk Hogan's phantom audition for Metallica. The comment says, pretty sure the band debunked this. Hulkster had something of a reputation for being full of shit.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's weird.
His claim of being best buddies with Ulrich in the 80s.
Oops.
Give me fuel, brother. Give me fire, brother. Give me I desire, brother. Oh god.
I mean, yeah, one way or another, everyone under the sun knew Hulk Hogan, like especially in our youth, of the age we were growing up and stuff.
He was a big part. I was a fan.
You just knew who he was, like even outside of wrestling. Like, right, Rocky 3, he's in that, which obviously kind of really helped catapult him into mainstream and thus bring wrestling with him. But even like the weird things, like, do you remember him being in Gremlins 2? Like, that was awesome. Yeah. Oh man, the movie Gremlins breaks down the fourth wall, and there's a theater of people watching Gremlins 2. In the movie Gremlins 2, it zooms out and it makes it look like the reel's getting destroyed, and it's because the Gremlins worked their way into this movie theater that was showing Gremlins 2, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" The whole crowd and the audience is like getting mad, and then the usher comes and gets Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan threatens to beat up the Gremlins. Like it's complete chaos, but like shit like that is just it's so good. I wonder I wonder how many cameos I don't know Hulk Hogan had.
This is still the greatest Hogan scene in a movie ever.
What's that smell?
Like, I love the best part is that guy who shit his pants. His backside is wet.
It's
from
not
the top, from the middle of the back down his thighs.
What director was like, I think we
unreal.
nailed it? Like, that's not poop, and it also wouldn't be pee. I don't know what's coming out of that man.
Yeah, it was, I mean, obviously, the longer history's gone, hasn't been favorable to Hogan. But when you're a kid, you don't know any better. I mean, when you watch that documentary on WrestleMania 9, and, like, he couldn't just let, had to be the hero, had to kind of steal the shine at the end of it. He was very much into his own going over. A lot of, like, backroom conversations about not losing titles if they wanted to move it on. And, he was, I mean, I imagine, once you blow up an industry and you're the face of it, I would imagine it's very difficult to give that up, And then he had a second, like the way he blew up the NWO and WCW, like you never would have seen, because once he left WWF, it was like you lost the guy. He's the forever good guy, and then he goes bad, goes heel, but it worked,
Yeah, I mean, WWF
he had a second life that way.
WWF was struggling big time. Trying to ride, like, they're like, all right, Bret Hart, and then Bret Hart had his issues, and they're like, all right, Shawn Michaels, and like it was floundering with what their plan post Hogan era was, and it wasn't good. And then, like you say, is like he was the only person who successfully had a heel turn. I mean, we look back at like John Cena's heel turn, meh. At the end of the day, everyone thought it'd be epic. It's been kind of meh. Stone Cold, when Stone Cold decided to go heel after 18 and sided with Vince McMahon, didn't go well. It did not get received well. Hulk Hogan, though, pulled a heel turn, and that's one of the most legendary promos in all of wrestling. One of the most legendary wrestling like promos and occurrences ever is him
Bash at the Beach
and leg dropping Macho Man, and then siding with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall and having that promo with Mean Gene, and all the fans are throwing trash into the ring. And like it's freaking epic. And then suddenly WCW takes off with the NWO, and it becomes literally wrestling gets pushed back into the mainstream as if it was like rock and roll wrestling again, of where it was actually cool in high school to to watch and talk about wrestling open and just assume that other people knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, I mean, all the merch, NWO shirts, and then later DX shirts.
Yeah.
Austin 316 shirts. Whatever black shirt you wanted, whatever thing you wanted on it.
Yep.
One of those deals.
Yeah, without NWO, there's no DX, no crotch chops, no kids going to detention for crotch chopping their teachers in the hallway and stuff. Yeah, a lot of kids, a lot of the youth of America running around telling adults to suck it, which is what a time to be alive, right? That's 90s America. It was like, this is the popular thing now. Kids going around telling teachers to suck it. That's terrible.
And his story was one of having a reality show and it going the way you would expect it.
That's
to go.
correct. That's correct. Hogan Knows Best was very much not the outcome of Hogan Knows Best. Yep.
No.
Oh boy.
His family kind of
imploded.
crumbled.
Literally imploded during
but-
at the end of that.
Yeah. Also, one of the only guys to ever bone his buddy's wife on film, and then make money from it.
Correct.
Make money in court for
Yes.
it. That's a record.
Because was it TMZ? Against TMZ?
Gawker.
That's what it was. Gawker.
Yeah.
So yeah, he won. He legitimately filed a lawsuit and won.
He put him out of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So, yeah,
legendary.
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah. And on his last WWE appearance, got fucking booed out of the arena like crazy.
Well, dude,
It was unreal.
when I went
That
to
was tough.
when I went to Raw, what the heck? What episode? What did I go to? It was Raw 3000, I think. Was that? Yeah, it was Raw 3000 in Philadelphia. He did not get a resounding support. Like, he came out and people were just effing booing him and stuff. Like, it was awkward because the problem is he can't come out. He never did wrestling as even a toned down Hulk Hogan, or let alone a Terry Bollea. Like, he would come out to Real American and be like, and it's like, yo, bro, like, when people, like, in 2025 or in the modern day, when people know all the shit you've been in and stuff, it's like, if you came out as a toned down you as a person, people might have reacted differently. But you can't come out being like, I am a real American. Like, yeah, tons of people weren't thrilled with the fact that, like, you showed up at, like, Trump's rally at the Republican National Convention and stuff. And so it's like, yeah, and you kind of have a lot of negative things surrounding you. So maybe don't come out during these, like, specials and stuff, because I don't think you know how people are going to react. So it is what it is. You can't deny what he did contribute, and him, basically things revolved around him, and wrestling being able to be what it is today solely because of him. So it is what it is. You can choose to either lump those things together and hold it against him, or you can try to separate the two concepts from each other of what he did personally to what his contributions were to wrestling.
Well said. Well said. I think maybe next week we'll be able to have a debrief on Happy Gilmore 2. So nervous to watch it. I see there's a lot of articles, so I'm trying to avoid any kind of spoilers. My concerns up front about it. We'll see if these get debunked. I'm nervous about all the cameos. How
It's
much
one
of
big
it is going to
walking
be
cameo.
like? Yeah, is it going to be like, oh, that's Becky Lynch and Travis Kelce, and they're not real actors, so now I can't, like,
Get past it.
differentiate. I don't feel like I'm immersed in the story of the movie because there's too many famous people that keep popping in, and it's awkward. But hopefully maybe it'll just be like good performances, and it'll be funny. I mean, please be funny. That'd be good. I rewatched.
It's no Hubie Halloween, I'm sure.
Yeah. Dude, I liked how Hubie Halloween.
Oh my God, I hated it. It was so fucking bad.
I liked it. I would watch it again.
I would never.
I rewatched the original this week, and I think if I have the same outlook on that as I do for this one, it might be okay, because it's not a great movie, Happy Gilmore. There's a lot of holes in it. There's some stuff that was funnier when I was probably 13 than it is now, but I really enjoy it. I like the Bruins references. I like golf. I like hockey. I like a lot of there's so many one-liners. So at least if it's quotable, has some, good quips. I don't need the story to be all time.
Yeah.
I bet I can guess what the story's going to be already. It's an old golfer. Maybe he's got to come back to get another house for his grandma. His grandma's somehow still alive. I don't know. she's 117.
Yep.
Just like,
That's fine.
she needs a new ventilator. Yeah. So watch it, Strange Fam. Watch it this week, and we can debrief next week.
And honorable mention to the loss of Malcolm Jamal Warner. Sorry your week got squandered. Same with Chuck Mangione.
I don't mean to laugh. It's just it's like
but boy,
brutal.
boy.
Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, literally dies on the same day as Hulk Hogan. And Malcolm Jamal Warner started the week strong with a lot of love out there, and then Ozzy passed, and it was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, and his was so tragic too.
I know, like a
It's like,
drowning.
you know,
I don't know, that's all I know about it.
Yeah,
But
you got the old Farrah Fawcett treatment.
yeah,
Everybody, you know, R.I.P. for a part of the day. Then Michael Jackson dies, and he's just like nobody ever remembered.
yep.
But yeah, you know what? Hey, you guys, do yourself a favor and watch some Cosby Show this week and remember the good times, all the good times.
Right?
Everything
What
that was going on during
what
those
trash?
times.
Bill Cosby got to outlive him. What a pile of dog shit that is.
I know. Outlived Theo. That is sad. Boop, boo doo, boop 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 boo doo.
More than me.